Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you at the start of another week. And what a big week it is. Can't get much bigger if you're an Arsenal fan. It is North London Derby week. Still got a fair few days to go until we hit that Sunday, and I'm sure the week is going to drag as it always does in Derby week. But we do have another game ahead of it, which is always nice to kind of take your mind off it a little bit. And it should be a fun game as well on Wednesday night. Lots of potential narrative in that Wimbledon game. Will we see the likes of Charlie Patino get his first minutes as a senior Arsenal player, competitive minutes as a senior Arsenal player? Anyway, that's one to look out for. I will talk about that game a little bit more in tomorrow's video as we get closer to kick-off on Wednesday night. But I thought today I would have a little look ahead to the Tottenham game, because let's face it, that is certainly the biggest match of the week when it comes to Arsenal, especially what's gone on recently. Arsenal winning 2 games in a row in the Premier League, now sitting on 6 points. Spurs losing their last 2 3-0, got hammered again yesterday by Chelsea, and Arsenal could potentially even go above Spurs with a handsome victory in the North London Derby on Sunday, which would be nice, certainly given the start to the season that Arsenal enjoyed early on. And yes, sort of fortunes have switched. It wasn't too long ago that Arsenal were bottom of the table and Spurs are top, but things are certainly beginning to look a little bit different now after back-to-back defeats for Spurs and back-to-back wins for Arsenal. So there's going to be a lot riding on that game on Sunday when it comes to the derby. Always lots of pride at stake, obviously, but also a chance for Arsenal to really certainly make the start of the season look an awful lot better if they can go and beat Spurs and potentially even move above them in the league. Well, I think that, to be honest, is the least of Arsenal's sort of worries going into that game. It's just all about getting a win when it comes to Spurs. You worry about where you are in the league table after that. So I just wanted to talk about that sort of mainly. And the one big thing I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to get your views on it as well as always, so please do leave your comments below. As you always do, I enjoy going through all of those. If you're new to this channel, then hit that subscribe button, give it a like, all the usual stuff. And the big talking point really ahead of that game on Sunday revolves around a certain Granit Xhaka, who will be back available after his ban. He serves the last game of that 3-match ban on Wednesday, so he'll miss the Wimbledon game, but he will be back available against Spurs. And so the big question here is, what do you do with Granit Xhaka? He's been out of the side since that sending off against Manchester City. Arsenal have won their last 2 games without him. We saw Mikel go with the 4-3-3 formation in the second half against Norwich. We saw him start with that formation at Burnley with Thomas Partey sitting as a holding midfielder on his own. And then you had Odegaard and Smith Rowe ahead of him, Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang. So what do you do now Granit Xhaka is back available? We all know Mikel Arteta is a big Granit Xhaka fan. So do you bring him straight back in, or do you leave him on the bench? Please let me know what you think. I know you, when it comes to Granit Xhaka, he is a very divisive player, and lots of you very big fans of Granit Xhaka, and lots of you do not like him at all. So it'll be really interesting to get your views on this, see how the sort of public opinion seems to be on it. For me, I think it's a difficult one. It's going to be a really big choice for Mikel to make this one, because I think that 4-3-3 formation that we saw against Norwich and against Burnley, I think it might be a little bit risky against Spurs, because let's face it, although we don't like Spurs, they're not a bad side. They're quite good. And if you've got Granit Xhaka completely on his own in midfield against Spurs, against some technically gifted players who can pass the ball around, then you might come into a little bit of a problem. That's the position that that's the sort of formation Arsenal played when they played that second leg against Villarreal at the Emirates. And Partey was on his own. Granit Xhaka obviously had to move to left back in that one. And you kind of, Villarreal, they are technically gifted players, and they could knock the ball around, pass the ball around, and they moved it around the one single player in midfield. And you do wonder if that could be the case if Arsenal do that, go with that formation against Tottenham. So you could still go with that formation, but play Granit Xhaka as one of the 2 ahead of him, ahead of Thomas Partey potentially, and have say Odegaard and Xhaka as the 2 in that sort of position, or you could play Xhaka as a complete holder and you could have Partey just ahead of him. So you could play both in that formation, and then you can move Smith Rowe to the left potentially, or something like that. Or you could go back to the 4-2-3-1. You could pair Xhaka and Partey together. So it's a difficult one personally for me, and I'm not the biggest Granit Xhaka fan. I never have been, although I do fully admit he has been an important player for Arsenal at times. And when he hasn't played, they have looked a poor side at times just because of his importance and the way that he plays and how everything goes through him. But I do much prefer Arsenal without Xhaka a lot of the time. As I've said before, I felt it was a missed opportunity to get him out of the club this summer. I would like, if Arsenal are going to play with two central midfielders against Spurs, I would like to see Sambi and Thomas Partey paired as the midfield too. And I just don't think Xhaka deserves to come straight back into the Arsenal side this weekend for me. I think personally, what that tackle he did against Man City, and you can have your opinion on whether it was sending off or not, it was just such an unnecessary thing to do for me, and it put Arsenal in real pressure. They're already 2-0 down. They're already going to lose a game, clearly. But it was just such a stupid thing to do at a time when his teammates needed him. He was a senior player on that pitch and he let them down again. And I just don't think he warrants coming straight back in the side after something like that. So for me, if Arteta is going to change things around, if he is going to play another central midfielder, I think it should be Sambi and or even Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I just don't think Xhaka should come straight back into the side against Spurs. That's my opinion on it, but please do let me know what you guys think. I'm always very intrigued to hear that. And like I said earlier, I'm sure they will be very differing views on that. Okay, let's quickly talk about Martin Odegaard, shall we? He's had some comments to say following that game against Burnley when he scored that goal against at Turf Moor that proved to be the winning goal. Top quality finish as well from him. So I'm just turning off my WhatsApp so you're not going to have ping-in noise going on through, because I can see quite a few messages are popping up at the moment in the chat that I'm in. He's been speaking about his move to Arsenal and how he feels about things and things like that. And this is what Martin Odegaard had to say. I thought it was quite interesting. He said, "I feel good here and at home here, and I'm really excited to be at this part of this club and part of this project. I'm excited by the future. I believe in this team. Even though we lost some games at the beginning, I had some faith and belief. We are a young team. We showed character against Burnley. It's not easy to play that kind of game. I think we did really well. It was a kind of war in the end. We know their strength and we played their game and we played their game a little bit more than our game. We controlled the game a bit better. In the second half, they played their game and they were good at it. We had to be a bit smarter and keep the ball when we won it. But again, we fought well and won. It was not beautiful, but a crucial game and important to get this win." I thought those were quite interesting comments from Martin Odegaard, clearly understanding the Premier League already. And the importance of that win. I spoke about it yesterday in that video. I really did enjoy it. Well, after the full-time whistle anyway. There was at times during that second half where I wasn't enjoying it. But it was one of those just a classic backs to the wall, 1-0 to the Arsenal. When that final whistle goes and you've got through it and you've earned the 3 points, it feels really good. And I think Odegaard's comments are very decent. I like the way he's talking about how he's excited about the club and the being part of this project. He could have gone to a fair few clubs. I'm absolutely sure. When it was decided that Real were going to sell him, he would have had a choice of clubs. I have no doubt about that in my mind, just such as the quality of the player. But it was always Arsenal he wanted to go to. Arsenal always wanted him. And, I just think it's to be able to bring a player like him into the club permanently at his age is exciting that Arsenal can still do that, because I think Odegaard's got all the potential to be an absolute superstar, and he's just at the very start of his career now. So I thought those are quite interesting comments from Odegaard. Before we leave that game against Burnley, just a little bit on the crowd trouble after the match. I'm sure you've seen it. I tweeted a video as it was happening after the game. It was quite a big clash between the away fans and the home fans who were in the same end at full time. As just after the Arsenal players had left the pitch, the fans clashed. They all charged each other. There was a little row with stewards in between. There was no police anywhere to be seen. I'm not sure there was a policeman in the stadium, to be honest. Burnley clearly don't seem to pay for matchday police. So it's just dealt with the stewards to deal with it, and it was a tough job for them. It went on for about sort of 5-10 minutes. Lots of stuff being thrown. I think there was seats. Some of the wooden seats were being thrown. Certainly plastic bottles. Lots of those being thrown. It was quite. You don't normally see that inside football stadiums nowadays. Certainly in the Premier League. So it was quite a sight to see. The FA are now investigating the matter to see how it came about, what happened. And I'm sure we might hear some more of it as the week progresses in terms of what that investigation leads to. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that to see if any sort of punishment is dished out to clubs for the for the scenes that we saw after the game. They didn't look great, I have to say, about when it comes to it. There is a rivalry between Arsenal and Burnley. You can sense, especially when you go up to Burnley, every single game that you've been there the last few years, you can really sense this. It kind of feels like the whole Arsenal versus Stoke rivalry that grew under Wenger. And it has that same feel about it, I have to say, every time I go to Turf Moor. So the FA investigation ongoing when it comes to that crowd trouble after the match. Before I go, just wanted to talk quickly about Hector Bellerin. If you hadn't seen it, he picked up his first assist for Real Betis during his loan spell yesterday. Nice assist for Nabil Fekir, who scored. It was a 2-2 draw in the end against Espanyol. I think Espanyol equalised in the 97th minute or something. But Bellerin set up the first goal for Nabil Fekir, so that's good for him. I hope he has a good loan spell. Like I said, I'm a big Hector Bellerin fan, and even if his time at Arsenal has now come to an end, which it probably has, even though he is technically only on loan, I wish him all the best in the future. So good to see him starting his loan at Betis in good style. Thank you for watching today's video. Like I said, I will sort of focus a little bit more on the Wimbledon game tomorrow as we head towards that one, and then it's all systems go after that for the North London derby. Enjoy your Monday, everyone. Have a good start to the week. I'll speak to you soon.